Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We're thrilled to have Karen and Matt presenting our new Growth Garden Bundle today. But before we dive in, I just have a couple of quick housekeeping items to go over with you. So everyone is muted by default. So if you have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And Matt will be monitoring those throughout the session. And then we'll have some dedicated time at the end of the presentation to answer any questions. We'll also be launching a few polls during the session. There's one up right now. So if you could just participate in those as they pop up, we would appreciate that. And that's all for me. So I will hand it over to Karen and Matt. Thank you all and enjoy the webinar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today. I'm Karen Recton. I'm sure I know some of you. I'm not sure who all is on the webinar today, so I'm sure I know some of you. And then hopefully there are some new faces here as well. So just wanted to say hi on video. I'm going to shut my video off now and get going on the webinar and the demo. I'm really excited to introduce the RCS Garden Growth Bundle today. We have designed this with garden and landscape centers in mind. And the Garden Growth Bundle is really NCR Counterpoint at the core. So those of you that know Counterpoint are going to see a lot of very familiar things here. And we're using many of the built-in features of Counterpoint and sort of have tweaked a lot of those up. And then we have some new additions for garden and landscape retailers that will help you efficiently manage your business as well. Over the years, we've talked to many garden center and landscape type businesses, and we've listened to what the unmet needs and pain points are with a lot of softwares and also with NCR Counterpoint. Today, you should see some features that will meet those needs and help streamline operations in both your front and back of house. I'm going to start by showing some sales transactions to demonstrate and discuss a variety of functionalities. And then I will briefly show you in the background how easy these things are to configure and use. And then we'll move into some other related topics as well. So all that said, let's get into it. And also, just so you know, I've got numerous screens to go through here. So might take me a second to get through flipping around here and there. So we're going to start by going to Counterpoint. And so for those of you who use Counterpoint, this will be a very familiar screen here. This is what we call our touch screen or our main sales entry. For those of you that are new, the touch screen is a configurable sales transaction screen. Your choice of colors, font, number of buttons, pictures, no pictures, very configurable to however you do your business. So we're going to start out just by entering some sales transactions, like I said. So first of all, we're going to just start with a normal walk-in customer, got a normal walk-in sale. And I'm going to talk a lot through these and do lots of demo type transactions. But for those of you that are new, entering just a sale is a very quick and easy thing in Counterpoint. We enter who's the customer, if we're going to capture sales by customer, scanning our items or entering our item numbers, and then how are they paying for it? So, generally at the register for just regular sales transaction entry, it's a very quick and easy thing. It may not look like it right now as I go through all this, but that is how it is in general. So first of all, we've got our walk-in customer, and today is Tropical Monday. So all of our tropical items that are in our tropical category are going to be a percentage off. So I've got, and again, we would normally be scanning our items here. This item happens to have a pop-up message. And so they are buying a tree. And so we have a message here to ask the cashier or remind the cashier to ask the customer if they would like to have it delivered. And then a couple of other notes there for the cashier. So it's very easy to put pop-up notes on our items. So this item is going to come to our screen. And we also have the option to display pictures of our items. So just wanted to demonstrate that feature as well. So here we have our item, our tropical plumeria tree. Regular price $400. Today it's 30% off because it's Tropical Monday. and we can see our automatically discounted price there on the screen. We're also currently having a promotion that is if you buy 8 baskets or more, 8 hanging baskets that are $14.95 or more, you'll get a 10% off. And that's any kind of baskets. So we use what we call mix match pricing in the background to accomplish that. So first of all, we'll just do, uh, let's see here. We will buy, we're going to buy 4 of, I don't know if I could do this right. We're going by 4. And then it is, hmm, sorry about that. Got a little delay here. Well, live demo here. I don't know what's going on. Let me avoid this ticket start. Oh, sorry about that. Here we go. And I have my quantity of 4. And then I also have another item, and we'll do, you'll notice here they're $14.95. Now I lost my mouse. We're going to get 4 of this one. And you'll notice here now that I've gotten the quantity of 8, they've gone from $14.95 to their $13.46 with the extended price here with their 10% off. So as the customer is making their purchase, of course, it's adding up all of their purchases. We've got our subtotal and total down at the bottom. And then at any point in the transaction, you can ask the customer if they're a loyalty customer. And if they're not a loyalty customer, this is just our normal walk-in customer, maybe they want to become a loyalty customer. So if that's the case, then we can go ahead and we can add our customer, and our customer numbering can be whatever you want. Seems to be currently the phone number is the main thing to be used for the customer number. So we'll put in a customer number, and we can say this is going to be June Jones. And we can go in and add then her email, phone number, address, whatever information you want to capture at the register. And we can set this add on the fly screen so that we are adding as much information or as little information as you want. So maybe you just want the customer name, their email address, and their phone number. We can limit this screen just down to that. And then as we add this customer to the sale, in the background, she's automatically becoming a loyalty customer. So now she's part of our loyalty program. And when we complete this transaction, we'll just pay this out. And it's going to show here what her total is, how she paid, what she's purchased, and close that up. So she's now a member of our loyalty program and has earned points on that sale. So there we've seen our automated Tropical Monday 30% discount. We can use that same kind of discounting for example, maybe you want to have a Senior Tuesday, senior discounting, military discounting, all kinds of great built-in promotional pricing capabilities, BOGO, buy 2, get 1 free, buy 1, get 1 free, all of those kind of promotions, very easy to set up within Counterpoint. So now let's start our transaction with another loyalty customer, or this one is a loyalty customer. So we'll start out here and we'll ask if you're a member of our loyalty program. And the person says, yes, they are. And so you can look them up by many things, their name or their phone number or email, whatever. But we'll just say, okay, we'll look up what's your name. So this person is Carter Anderson. So we'll go ahead and pick Carter. And Carter is now brought to our transaction. And now we're going to look at selling an item that we have a choice of units. So here we have flowering annuals. So we have little 4-packs that we sell, or we can buy these in a flat. So the way this item is set up in the background is that we're stocking by an each, and we can sell by a flat. So if we buy a flat, it's going to decrement the quantity on hand by the number of eaches that are in the flat. So this time, this person is just going to buy, we're going to buy 4, and we're going to buy 4 eaches. So there's our pricing for the each. You can see up here at the top now, it's showing that loyalty points are available. So once the person accumulates enough points that they have to spend, then it's going to tell the cashier at the register that they're eligible to spend their points if they have enough. Another side note on loyalty is that you have the option to define your loyalty program. So if you can define how points are earned, and so how many points you want to earn on a dollar, or however you want to define that. And then also you can exclude categories or merchandise from earning, or you can give additional points for certain merchandise on their earning. And then you define the redemption as well. So how much value does each earned point have for them to redeem in the end? So we've got our alternate unit item here. And then we also have an item that was assembled from a bill of material. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that now and later. But this is an item that was assembled from what we call a bill of material. So this started out as a lot of different plants, pot, dirt, labor. And it was all assembled and taken out of stock and put into this one finished inventory item called the potted plant that we're selling for a different price than all of the components. So all of these components together equaled about $149 retail. But since we're selling it in the potted version, we're selling it for $139.99. So now when we go to pay this out, because Carter has enough points to redeem, here we'll go ahead and we will use the loyalty point payment type. And then here it shows how many total points he has, how many points will be used for this sale. And they can decide maybe they don't want to use all their points. Maybe they want to do half points and half cash or credit card. They have the option at this point to define how many points they want to use to pay on this transaction. So we do that. And down here at the bottom, let's see. We're going to complete. Okay, so we didn't have quite enough points there to pay. So we'll go ahead and we'll pay it out with cash. And I'll show the receipt here. So this shows on the receipt how much dollar value of the points they used were, and then the points that they redeemed. And because we have the rules set to earn redemption, little earning. And then also we have different, I'm going to show more about invoices later, but we have the option to have different types of paperwork that prints out at the end. So we have the normal ticket receipt, like we just saw. Also, for different types of transactions, you may want to have an invoice. So here we have an invoice type form, can have your logo on it, and here it's going to look more like an accounts receivable type invoice. And when we mail, we can email receipts and invoices to our customers as well, and then they generally email in this format. And if we do email to our customers, then we would have another button on the screen here that would say email. And that would give you the option to just select that option. And then for the customer that's on the ticket, it will automatically send the email to their email address that's in their customer record. Okay, so now we have a new customer here. And this customer is a loyalty customer as well. And this is Jill Smith. So up here in the keyword, you can see I'm just typing in parts of the person's name and it starts filtering down the entire customer list until it comes to people that have those keywords in their name. So very, very simple to look up customers that are in your customer records. So we've got Jill. She's going to make a purchase here today and she's going to buy a tree. And I'm going to demonstrate several different features with this. So she's going to buy a tree. And so along with this tree, I have this set up as what's called a tag-along kit. A tag-along kit allows us to sell additional items along with the parent item. So this is a really good feature to use if you want to, uh, sometimes you just want to automatically add on items with an item that you're selling. Other times you want to give the cashier a reminder to ask the customer if they need whatever these other items are. So in this case, um, do you want us to deliver and plant this tree? So if we say yes, if we say no, we won't get asked any more questions. If we say yes, then it's going to automatically put the fee to plant the tree on there. Then we're going to go down to our delivery options. So we've got a couple of new delivery options in here that we've heard people asking for, and that is the ability to determine a delivery charge based on a delivery distance, basically. So we have a couple of different options. Number one, here we can go to this option, go to a mileage calculator. Let's say we're going to be delivering from our store and we have multiple stores in our system. So we're going to select the store, the zip code we're delivering to, and then we have our default cost per mile in here. So I can select that. It calculates, basically it's $41. I'll just round up per our calculation. And then I can go here. I can add that $41 charge to my transaction. And then also have the ability to add delivery notes. So I can type note of delivery. If I give it a certain note ID, then we can make the notes with that particular ID print easily on our sales receipts and invoices. And then we can just put in whatever our delivery instructions are here. Deliver to the side yard, call us before you get there, whatever you need. Save that. And now you'll get an indicator on your transaction that the document has notes. So that tells us we've got a note in there. And then we have one other, before I continue to finish this out, one other delivery option that we have. Same thing here. You can select the type of truck that you're going to charge for delivery. That would just be a pickup truck for this one. And in that case, it's going to have the charge for the truck. And then you can also set different distances of mileage. So you're going to charge different amounts based on how far the delivery is going to be from your store. And so these are things that you can define your mileage and what you want that tolerance to be, and then what you want to charge for that particular mileage. So we don't need two delivery options on here. So I'm just going to get rid of the second one. So I'm using the void line to delete those items. So when I complete this one, pay it out. Here, I'll display my invoice. Like for this one, I'd like to have an invoice. So here we've got our invoice, all of our information there. And then we've completed that sale. All right. another new feature that we have that we've heard people asking for a long time is the ability to help a customer find a plant that might meet their needs and also to be able to look up plants to a plant database, to an external plant database. So I've got a couple of those things here to show you. Number one is if we wanted to connect to an external plant database. Change my view here a little bit. Here's a plant database that we're connected to that is not part of Counterpoint. So it's one that we found out on the internet. And here you can search for a plant by its English name, by its botanical or scientific name, and it's going to narrow down all of the plants in that database that have that particular name. So I'm going to go here for a coneflower or an echinacea. So I'm going to use a botanical term to look up. So when I do that, it narrows down what's in that plant database to all of the echinaceas that are in there, all the different varieties, and then all of the information that's in that database about that plant. So then that gives you the ability to talk to the customer, find those kind of plants that might meet their needs, and then you can go and look in your system to see if you have those. So that's an external database. So then we also have the ability within Counterpoint using item attributes and profiles and setting up the item attributes and profiles to filter our plant list down to whatever. So in this case, we're looking for planting or care information. So let's say I want to find a perennial. So I'm going to go to my item category of perennial. And then I want something that blooms in the summer. And I want something that will bloom in the full sun. And so all of the items that we have in the database that are a perennial with a season of summer and full sun exposure will come to our lookup. So again, we've got the echinaceas. Those two fit those criteria. And then this shows how many we have on hand. So you could add other criteria to that as well. You could say, what is the plant height? What is the bloom color? I had zone on there. I didn't select a zone, but zone ranges and that kind of thing. So you'd find all of that within the item, which I'll show you shortly, and then help the customer again find what they need from your stock. So the other one is finding what they need that you might have. This is finding what they need that is in your inventory or that you might want to order for them. So I can select that and I can add that to my ticket. And then you can continue to do that with as many lookups as you want. So this person wanted to buy the coneflower. And then this person also wants to purchase the mulch. So we have a mulch calculator, mulch or soil calculator. So here I can go ahead and determine the yardage that we need. And so in feet, we're going to enter our area length. It's 40 by 20 and 4 inches deep. And then when I run this little calculator, it's going to tell me that basically I need 10 cubic yards. And so then I can go here to my mulch item. I can sell the 10 cubic yards and add that easily to my ticket. And then from there, they may also need that delivered. So you've got that same delivery option. So that delivery option that we've got on the touchscreen here, you could put that on every page if you wanted. You could just put it on one main page. You could put it down at the bottom here. However, wherever it makes sense for you and how you do business, you can have those buttons anywhere. So there you go ahead and select your delivery, enter in their zip code, and it would automatically calculate all their delivery options there. So lots of great things within the touchscreen that will help you service your customers and also help the cashiers check customers out quicker. And with all of the alternate units and the ability to scan and all of that, keep your inventory very accurate and up to date based on your items that I've sold. So I'm going to switch now. That was a lot of what I wanted to show you from a store standpoint. Now I want to show a couple things for more of the landscaping side of the business. So, Amanda, this would be a good time to put up another question while I'm switching screens. Okay. So here we've got a different looking touchscreen. Like I said on the other one, you can configure them all different ways, colors, pictures, font, functionality, all those different things. This is set up more for a landscaping, wholesale type environment. So here I just wanted to show you some features that are really helpful either for a wholesale level or for landscaper level or both. So first of all, want to show you if we use, let's see, here I've got sort of what we call a run page set up. So a run page walks the person entering the order or the sales transaction through all of the different steps to collect all the information that we need. So when you've got a big like landscape order or whatever, we want to make sure that we collect all that information up front from the customer so we have everything we need to fill the order. So we're going to start out here by starting an order, and we have the option here to do a new order or process an existing order. So we're going to go to a new order, and our customer is going to be Underwood Design. So I type in Underwood, you'll find the customer for me. And this customer is wholesale, and so they are going to get the wholesale discount. This customer also already has orders on file. It's giving me the option to process or not. I'm not going to because I'm entering a new order. So no to that. Then we can pop up here and ask how do they want it delivered. So if we're going to deliver to them versus if the customer is going to pick up or whatever options you would want to put here. So I'm just going to say we're going to deliver. And then if you want to put a job name on here, that would be for Underwood Designs benefits so they know who this is for. Then whatever the delivery address for this product would be. So we're going to enter in Jane Johnson and put in her address and wherever she lives. I'm not going to fill all that out, but here again, information about the ship person where it's being delivered or shipped to. And then that's associated with this order. And then again here, I can go ahead and I can enter in the notes. Delivery. Whoops. Okay. So we would have our delivery note. Deliver to that little driveway. Whatever needs to go here. Blah, 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 blah. And so now that note is here on the order. So now we're ready to start putting our items on the order. So when we were doing a sale over in the regular point of sale entry, that line color was green. So depending on your monitor, you may now be able to see that the line color here is aqua. It's a different color. That's indicating to us that this sale is now an order and not an actual cash and carry sale. So here I've got buttons here that I've set up for specific filtered item lookups. So this person is getting pavers. So we have a filtered lookup for pavers. That's one way you could find it. You could also just type in the description, whatever we needed here. So we have this paver item. And this paver, we have 3 different selling stocking units. So this item is stocked in the system as a square foot. So that's our main item here, square foot. We also have the ability to sell it by an each. So each paver, each. And then we also can do it by a pallet. So these units of measure can be used for ordering as well as selling. So when we order from our vendor, we may need to order in pallets. Maybe we only sell to our customer in square foot. So again, the ability to set all of those up and have them all calculate into each other. So there is a formula behind it. And when we set up an item, it's a very simple thing to do. How many square feet are in a pallet, for example? So then we have that conversion there. And as we're selling a pallet, it's knowing how many square feet to pull out of stock because we're stocking in square feet. So I'm going to sell one pallet. And then we're also going to sell, oops, we're going to sell some cement. And I have no idea how much cement or whatever you would buy to go with this, but we're just going to say, we're just going to say they're buying 25. And so now we have our order in here. And at that point, we would go to our, we could have our same delivery option that we had in point of sale. We could have those buttons here on this screen as well. So you could do the zip code calculator. Um, Here we just have a different option where we just have basic haul rates. So based on our zones. So we may have our county or our area just set out in zones. We know it's always going to be some kind of a large truck, or you could prompt for the truck type and charge for the truck type as well. So we'll just say here we're going to deliver to zone 2. We know that's a $150 charge. And that's all we need to put on this order. So at this point, like I said, this is an order, which means the customer is not taking it with them today. We're going to deliver it to them and we're going to have the option to collect the money now or later because it's an order. So with orders in Counterpoint, you have the option to take no deposit for the order, full deposit for the order, or anything in between. So maybe we're just going to take 50% today, 50% when it's delivered. That's totally up to you and whatever your business rules are. I'm going to complete this with no payment right now because it's an order. So we have an order and our order form. Here's our order form. At the bottom, it tells us that no money is due, or that the full amount is due, sorry. And now we're going to close this out. So now, just to show you the next step, when this were to get delivered, and also just a side note on delivery and that kind of thing, because we had the prompt at the beginning of the transaction that this was going to be delivered, we also could put a prompt on there for delivery date. And that would give you the option, the ability to print out orders that are going to be delivered on a certain day. So you could pull all of the product needed for those deliveries, stage how it's going to be on the trucks, and get your driving schedule ready for the day based on all that. So here we're going to process orders. Gives us the order lookup. The most recent thing I did is in the background, so that's on the screen right now, but we can look through all of our orders. Select our order. We're going to release that order. Let's say it's been delivered to the customer now, and we need to bill Underwood Designs for it. So we're going to release all this. And this customer is a business, and so they're an accounts receivable customer. Counterpoint has a full built-in accounts receivable module. So you have the ability to bill customers, do aging, assess finance charges, and full statement printing, either printed statements or emailed statements on whatever your schedule is. So all of those things are definable for you. So since this customer is an accounts receivable customer, when we go to pay, we have the option to pay with accounts receivable as our payment type. So at this point, it's going to create their invoice for them, which again, you would put email, print, however you want to get them that information. At that point, this now is on their accounts receivable account. They owe us the money. So that's going to be in their revolving balance. Another note on accounts receivable, you have the option to take payment on account at the register. You can do that, apply payments against certain invoices and all of that at the register, as well as doing cash receipts as a back office activity. So either way. So I'm gonna skip this. I have the ability to do quotes. I know that sometimes that's important. So here again, we just select our customer. Let's pick somebody here. And we'll just add a couple items here just for demo purposes. And we'll do stone. Let's say I want. Also, you'll see I'm going down to the quantity button. Just select my quantity. You can put in your quantity first before you put in your item. You can do it after, or you can set up buttons and set up behavior at the touch screen so that it's always prompting for a quantity. So that's a totally optional how you do that. So anyway, we've got our customer, we've got our items on here. This is what she's going to be charged. Here we've got the ability to create a quote. You can put an expiration date of the quote on there. It will print on the quote document. So here's their quote document. It's got the expiration date on there. They can take that with them, and then this stays in the system. So when they come back in and they want to make that purchase, you don't have to enter in all that again because it could potentially be a really big order, big landscape order with lots of items on it, or a big plant order. So in that case, then we do a quote recall. Again, you can look it up, and you can look it up by customer name, or if they have their quote number, you can look it up that way. Select that, recall the quote, and then it brings it into the transaction as a sale. So at this point, you can leave it as a sale, or you could convert it to an order if they were not taking it with them today. Also, one thing I wanted to mention about selling weighed items, like your stone and your things like that might be sold by weight. We also have the ability to interface with a floor scale. And so we've done an interface to Counterpoint with a Fairbanks model of floor scale. And so your hand truck or whatever can just roll right on top of the scale. And then that weight is transferred into Counterpoint for whatever that product is. So a lot of the same things I showed you, in point of sale apply in this more wholesale landscaping side as well, with the ability to have the alternate units, prompting for all the information. You could set up run pages like I showed you with the order to walk somebody through collecting the information. Lots of nice things to help you streamline your operations. So I'm going to get out of point of sale now and wanted to show you a plant graduation feature. So this is something that we heard a lot about as well, where you have the ability, if you're a grower or if you overwinter a lot of trees and shrubs and that kind of thing to the next year, and they really turn into a bigger product than they were before. We are calling this plant graduation, and you have a much simpler way to move items between those years or graduation levels, whatever they are, than doing your standard 2 adjustments that you have to do for every item. So this is automating some of that behind the scenes. So here again, we're going to pick what our location is that we're doing this for, our from item number. So I've got 5 years worth of oak tree in here. So I'm going to say we're going from oak 1. They're currently stocked in oak tree year 1. And we bring them out and get them ready in the spring, and they have moved to oak tree number 2. We have the option then to determine how many we want to move. So if we want to move the entire quantity that we currently have available, then you can just leave that button checked, box checked, or you can go in here and you can say, I'm only going to do 5 of them. There's only 5 that are ready to move. And then we have reason codes here because in the background, this is just an inventory adjustment. So we've got our graduation and then what general ledger account you would want that to go to. And those are fields that could be defaulted if needed. Then if you wanted to type any kind of a reference note in there, you can do that. So when you click run at that point, it's telling you that it has done that, gotten it ready in the background. Then you can go here and look at your edit list. Your edit list is going to show, it's just a normal inventory adjustment edit list. I did have an adjustment in here from earlier, so that's why you're saying more than one. So here's my ones that I moved from year 1 to year 2. Then I can go in and post those adjustments. I'll post all of my adjustments. So now those have all moved from year 1 to year 2. And then I can go directly here to print item labels. And I could say O2 and pick what kind of label I wanted for them, a tree tag or whatever, and how many I've actually moved. So a much easier process than doing the adjust out, adjust in, and all of that. So hopefully that's something that can be a time-saving feature within Counterpoint. Also, a very nice sign printing under inventory signage. Here, this is designed to, if you can imagine, you'll see in a second, like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of stock. Maybe in your business, you've got cardstock that has your logo printed on it, and you do signage that is out like at the end of a row of plants or at every pile of your different kinds of mulch or stone, and a sign that would be descriptive of what is it in that area. So I've got a pre-filtered list here. You filter what items you want to print the signs for or what range of items. And then if I preview this, it shows you that we're using our store logo. We've got our selling price, our item number, and then all this information that we have defined within the items. So within the items, this is using our extra description, alternate or additional description fields, where we've got all of this information defined. So by default, those additional description fields are what we are using to print on these. So that's something we had several requests for over the years. Okay, Amanda, this would be a good time for another poll question. I'm going to switch over to my slide presentation for a minute here. Okay, so looking at our different labels that we can print our signage like I just showed you. A minute ago, I mentioned printing our labels for our graduated items. But within the system itself, we have 3 standard garden center type labels set up that we know garden centers use. So we've got the 1x9 tree tag, first of all, at the top. Then we also have a 1x5 plant stake. And we also then have a standard adhesive label. And that label stock for the adhesive label is available in both, like water resistant and also just regular paper stock. So when you need to print those labels for your materials that are outside, you can do that. Oh, and I have talked way too long. Uh, so we might run over here for sure. All right, so I'm going to talk real quick. Actually, I may skip a couple things here. I'm gonna skip down my list because there are a couple things I definitely want to get to. Some of these things too, you're gonna get a link to the slide presentation and the webinar afterwards. So you'll be able to look through the slide presentation and see the things that I was going to talk about next, which I think I'm going to skip because I'm running out of time. So there's information in there about showing you how to do the attributes, item attributes and profiles to do your filtering for plant care, how to do alternate units. Also, there's a slide there that talks about using weight and cube measurements within the item for truck size estimation, and also how to use bin locations within the item to show where you're stocking the different items. I do want to show you real quick. There's also a slide in there about the bill of material, how to use the bill of material for the pots to set the manufacturing or the assembly of the potted plant arrangement. Also, purchase advice, great feature in Counterpoint, purchasing advice. Purchasing advice is really good for helping you determine what you should buy, best used for products that you never want to run out of. So your stock things you want to order over and over again. Different options there for how to run that. We've got different methods: maximum, days of supply, and replenishment. So based on those three methods, the system will create your suggested orders by vendor or category, subcategory, however that works. And then additionally, you can set that so that those are run during off hours, and those purchase advice are created, and you can even have it generate purchase requests that are sitting there waiting for the buyer when they're ready to do their buying process. So maybe they buy on Monday morning. You can have these all run Sunday night and have up to the minute information for them to use when they do their purchasing on Monday morning. Some of these things too, like using purchase advice, we have recorded sessions on our YouTube channel regarding a lot of these things. So in our final communication that we send out about this, we can also send links to some of those things as well. Sorry, I'm running short on time here. Okay, so we also have transfer advice. We have receive merchandise with or without a PO. So this is another thing. The ability to receive merchandise without a purchase order going in. So you can go into Counterpoint, you can receive merchandise straight into the system without having created a purchase order first. And it kind of creates a purchasing and a receiving at the same time. And with that, you can scan those in, you can import a file of the receivings, or you can just manually go through and enter those receivings. Stock balancing using transfer advice. That's very helpful. So if you have multiple locations and you want to optimize your inventory that you have on hand by moving things around instead of ordering new for everybody all the time, then transfer advice will help you figure out what you should be buying. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. All right, I'm going to now quickly go back to, I'm going to skip over to what we're calling data stream. So Counterpoint has lots of great built-in reporting. And we have a few reports in there in our built-in reports that I'm going to try to get to that are really helpful for all retailers, but a lot of them specifically for garden centers. But I did want to make sure I got to this. So this is what we're calling data stream. This is written by Retail Control Systems. And this is a more visual look at your sales data. And so this is live to your Counterpoint data. You have the ability you can see this, it's live to a demo database that we have in-house. You can run it at any time. You can run it from a phone, from a tablet, from computer, so you don't have to necessarily be on site. This is great for those people, managers and owners and people who are not on site but want to keep up to the date on what's going on during the day. So they can come in here. You can run it either for today's sales or for historical sales. So we've got 2 toggles there for live or history. And you can go through here and see different charts of different things. So we've got our sales by store, sales by hour, category, top 10 items, and all this for the current period. Then also the ability to do a few analytics. So we've got a few options here to view some different reports. We have some currently pre-configured reports in here, and also to create some data exports from existing tables that are in Counterpoint and to use. So this is a great place to get some data out of Counterpoint that you need. And I would love to talk more about that. That's something if you're um, interested in the data stream. This is something we also have another webinar on, and also you can just get with your account manager and they'll hook you up with that and some additional information about this. So I just want to go back into Counterpoint reports real quick. We put together just a menu option here of reports that are valuable to use. We call it month end because these are things that people use at month end a lot. One specific thing I want to point out here. Some of these are standard to Counterpoint: the retail value, the valuation, the aging, tax, that kind of thing. One that we have done that I personally have heard several times from garden centers that want to see not just profit from sales, but pure profit on items and vendors and categories, inclusive of things that have come out of stock for, uh, that you're having to throw away because it died or end of season or that kind of thing. So you're seeing the true profitability on those items or categories or vendors. So we have a profit report that pulls all of those adjustments and all of those different things in and considers that, and then it's going to show you what uh, what your true cost of goods inclusive of those other things are. So nice custom report there. Also comparative report for store summary and group summary. So a little more detail there. But this gives us um, what this gives us. Let's see. Let me just put today's date in here. So we got today's date, month to date, and year to date in the store summary. And then for the group summary, we can do this by category or vendor or other options. And then here we've got our same comparative by whatever you've chosen there, your vendor or your category, your subcategory. So nice report there that's not in the standard Counterpoints. Okay, quick mention, and then we need a couple minutes for questions because this will probably cut off right at 2. And I apologize for going over, but if we have questions, we may have to answer some of the questions with email at the end. Did one.
Yeah, I get the questions here, Karen. They're pretty straightforward, so we can probably get those done in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Let me just mention a couple quick things. So for mobile activities, we have a couple of options there. So for mobile inventory activities, we have something called MINS. It does physical count, item, lookup, transfer in and out, and receive against a PO. So nice mobile functionality there that you can use out in the yard, out in your garden center to do those kinds of activities that uses an API and runs on Wi-Fi. And then we also have a couple of different options for mobile point of sale. So we have CP Mobile. We also have a full mobile tablet and different activities if you want to do mobile point of sales in your business. And accounting interface, we can interface to several different, and pretty much any different accounting system, your journal entries and your received factored receivings into account payable. So is that
Great. Thanks, Karen.
Yep.
So these
okay?
most recent to the earliest. So we got first question is currently I cannot sell um unit in less than a whole number. Has that changed?
On your item, when you set up your item, if you go to the other tab, there's a quantity decimal field, and you just change that quantity decimal field to probably 2. And you'll need to unlock the record in order to do that. So if you need help with that, you could probably just call support and they could walk you through it. That's pretty
Absolutely.
straightforward. Yeah.
I don't know if this one's in your scope, Karen. Do your best. If you use the point of sale machine to access the internet, are you no longer PSI compliant?
PCI compliant, there are lots, that's a big, big question. There are lots of things that factor into PCI. If you're using a current version of Counterpoint, your Counterpoint software is PCI out of scope. So yes, you can still access the internet and be compliant. Yep.
And then while in ticket entry, and you sort of covered this, I think, with the order. So this might be for more the retail side of things. While in the ticket entry, can you enter a shipped duct the ticket showing the customer and the ship to address?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So when you're in the ticket entry and you need to enter a shipping address, and then you print out the ticket showing the customer and the ship to address.
Yes, yes, you can. So maybe the receipt would or invoice would have to be modified, but yes, you can print both on that on either paperwork. Yes. The invoice does it by default, but the sales receipt, I think we would have to add the ship to information on there, but it can be done.
Okay, great. And then last question is it possible to set up discounts for services for loyalty members? Example would be like the planting services you were talking about and discounts on delivery based on distance.
Yes. So we would use promotional pricing and the loyalty customer reference to put those together and to create those discounts. Yeah.
Okay, great. So that was all the questions. So wow.
Well,
Okay,
sorry,
hang
I
on.
had to
This job, Karen.
skip over some of the stuff, but I guess we got it
Uh,
crammed in.
So for those of you who are current customers, if you have questions about our growth garden package, please reach out to your account manager. If you are not currently a customer and you want some more information, you can reach out to sales@retailcontrolsystems.com or myself, Matt Rogers. I'm an account executive here. Would be more than happy to talk with you a little bit more about what we're doing here and a little bit more about this package.
All right. Thank you, Karen and Matt. Doesn't look like we have any more questions, so we'll wrap things up. Thank you all for joining us today. Lots of great questions and engagement throughout. So we appreciate that. And a recording of today's webinar will be sent out via email. So keep an eye on your inbox. Thank you again, and I hope you all have a nice day.